Greetings and welcome, guys, girls, and non-binary pals, to episode 338 of the Words About Games podcast, a weekly therapy session masquerading as a video game podcast. I am your exhausted host, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week by the man with the plushies draped all over his sofa, Mr. Daffy Moody.
Howdly doodly doo! Welcome to the madhouse. It's Friday. You know what that means. We're going to be awesome, even though this week it's so awesome. We have the exhausted one. We have the the insane one. I'm insane. I've had a crazy week as well. Not to the level of Amy, sadly, but we'll get there.
Sadly? you want to have?
Sadly, I was thinking, do I really want to go through?
You're more than welcome.
Should I be sad? I'm sad for you, but not that they're coming after me.
I'll just start sending you stuff. Like, here you go. Screenshot of my DMs. A screenshot of this. A screenshot of that.
Yeah.
You don't look as comfortable when you're not sitting on your couch.
Yeah, I needed to move the bad boy. I needed it.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I hope a new comfy chair is in the offing soon.
So hopefully. Probably won't be for another couple of more months.
Sure.
But hopefully.
I'll get there.
Eventually, I'll probably switching between both each episode or something like that. Eventually, I probably will be back on the couch.
Nice. Just every week, just like.
So, yeah,
it's like, is he on the couch? Is he on the chair? We'll start a betting thing. Channel points on Twitch. It's like, is Moody going to be on the couch or is he going to be on the chair?
Yeah.
But yeah, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm not bad at all. A busy week of work.
Sure.
Like a lot of things got announced.
I was going to say, like,
we'll be talking about some of them.
Nothing major happened for you at work, right? Like,
nothing major at all.
There were no like restructurings or like video game announcements or anything like that. No,
not at all. Not at all. No, but it's been really good. Just cracked on doing obviously what I do, and yeah, I'm feeling really good right now.
Sure.
Busy, but it's really good.
As long as it's good busy and not bad busy.
It's good busy. But today was a bit of a pain in the backside, but that's just a personal thing. Of like, I had to go to the doctors and I didn't have the note, and the doctor said, "Well, I can't do anything until you give me the note." And I'm saying, "Well, I was never given a note," and then it's just the whole thing. It was a whole thing, and I was just like, "Well, I'm gonna have to reschedule with you then, aren't I?"
Well,
fine.
See you in a month.
Yeah, see you in a month. I still support you and your strikes, but this is annoying. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the Tory twats. 13 fucking years we've had of those fuckers, and they're fucking literally demolishing this country. Thanks.
Yeah.
You sure you should be wearing blue, having blue as hair? I shouldn't be wearing blue either. They're blue. Fuck. I'm gonna go change. You just put a wig on.
Just straight away.
Put a hat on.
I've got wigs.
Stop putting a hat on.
Actually, I have a hat. I'll get it. You keep talking.
Hi. Oh well, here he goes to put on a hat to hide away her Toriness. We'll keep on chatting about randomness. It's gonna be fun. Look at that awesome Sylveon shirt. I want to see this hat.
I can't get my headphones off. Right?
Oh my god! This
What?
thing ever. This might be the greatest thing ever.
I know, right?
I'll pick it up later. I mean, just pick it up later.
Yeah, I told you you weren't ready.
Wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, man. I wasn't ready, Amy.
When you said hat, I just looked at it and I was like, I gotta put it on.
I gotta put it on. Just like by law, you have to put it on. Exactly. I'm not putting my helmet on.
No, not after
That's
the last
pain
time.
in the backside. No, not after the last time.
It's a good helmet though.
Oof. Good helmet indeed. Good helmet indeed. How are you? I haven't asked that yet.
I was gonna do a bit where when you asked us, I was gonna grab a pillow and scream into it. But there's people.
You can still do that.
Well, there's people in the house, so.
And they might come running upstairs.
And they might be like, "What the fuck? She's dying." Yeah. One only on the inside. I mean, it's been a week. It's been a hard week. It's been a rough week. It's been normally the euphemism is when you have a week like I've had. It's been an interesting week. It's not even really been that interesting. I'd rather just have skipped it, but it was going to happen eventually, wasn't it? So
yeah, I was surprised you didn't just take a holiday this week and just like to switch off altogether.
nah,
I was wondering
because then
would
I'd
you
just
do
be
that?
on my phone on Twitter for like 2 weeks, like whatever, however long I took off. Right? I'd just be doom scrolling.
Yeah.
I did start working on a new video.
Ooh.
I've found that the Mass Effect video is taking so long that I'm starting to like lose like my focus when I'm sitting down to work on it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I just started a different one and then I can like switch between the two? And obviously the other one is much shorter.
So you really are going for N70, aren't you?
I mean, I've written 13,000 words. That's not an insignificant amount of words, but
Only 13,000 on 3 games.
I'm not finished yet.
I was going to say.
I'm not even close to the end.
See, it seems like a small amount out of 3 games.
But I've started another one.
Cool.
And I've started just like writing it a bit here and there. Like, it's good, It's fun.
It's good to get the distraction and also balance it at the same time. Because, like I say, I can appreciate from a certain point. Obviously, it's just like getting tired of thinking, oh my God, this is like, I enjoy doing this, but doing this for the same story over and over again, it's like, I need to mix it up just to keep it fresh in my head and everything. So, yeah, it's a good idea.
That's basically it. It's just like I've said this, I think I've told you this before, where it's like, you make a video and it takes a long time to make this kind of video, and you eventually you hit that sort of point where you're making it, but you've been in it too much, so it's like all the words are nonsense and all the visuals are like just like colors on a screen, and you have no idea what the fuck you're doing and why and if it's any good or not. And normally that hits in a much later in the process, but because this is a much longer process, it's like it's already starting to take effect where I was writing like a chapter and then like I was just like, what the fuck am I even talking about? So I was like, I need a break. So I took a break, and then I was like, but I still want to do it, like I still want to actually like have that creative outlet. So I was like, well, I'll just make something else.
Sweet.
And I did. I played a video game over the weekend, made an outline, and then have started clickety-clacking on the old laptop. And it's definitely not going to spiral out of control this time. It can't. It's not 85 hours worth of games you play through multiple times. It's about 4 hours long.
Very good, very good. I'm glad you found that nice right balance for yourself right now. So that's good to hear.
Well, this is the thing, it's like the last few years of my life, as you know, have been about like taking care of myself, right? Like learning how to take care of myself like an adult. So like,
what's an adult?
Yeah, right. like an adult, like an adult. What was that? But yeah, but like, so like when shit's getting like piling up and stuff, like I have that thing in my brain now. It's a little Moody voice actually that just says, "Do something else."
I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Do something else.
That's it.
Little small one. Do something else.
I'm gonna clip that little bit out just for myself to do something else, and I'm just gonna play it to myself on repeat. I watched a film that like I've seen it a million times before. It's called The Game as Darkness Rising. It's like an amazing D&D film from like years ago. It's like an indie made film. It's incredible. If you like D&D, you should watch it. It's really funny. But
I'm still waiting to play D&D, right, Keith?
So am I. He's still having his technical problems. I haven't played D&D since last summer.
Oh, are you feeling an itch?
Oh, big style, yeah. Vitz invited me to a game, but it was like it doesn't work with my schedule, so I was like, I have to say no. Shout out to Vitz as well, who's been awesome this week. But yeah, and then I caught myself the other day. I was humming a song, and you know when you hum a song and you're like, I don't know where this song's. I don't know what song I'm humming. Like, but it's like it's on the tip of your tongue. And I was like, what song is this? I'm humming like. It was one of your stupid Phasmophobia songs. I was humming it, and then I was like, for like 20 minutes after I caught myself humming it, I was like, what the fuck is this song? And I was like, is it from a video? I feel like it's from a video game. It's a video game song. But then I was like, but it's got lyrics. And I was trying to remember what the lyrics were, and then I couldn't. And then I remember. It goes like this. And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't know what this is.
Which marvelous song were you singing, Amy?
It was the first one. It was the first one he ever did. You know, the George Taylor, where are you?
You smell head. You smell pee-pee and poo-poo.
I do the other one as well, but right now it's not at the front of my head, so I can't remember the lyrics. It's the one where you're shining your torch all over the place. Doop doop deedly doo. I'll remember it halfway through the podcast, probably.
Probably, yeah.
You and your fucking Phasmophobia soundtrack.
Amazing.
People say that game doesn't have music. They obviously just need to play it with the right people.
Never played with me, on it, yeah. Yeah, it's really cunning. Really cunning. Really happy.
I wish I could remember that epic one you dropped when we were playing off stream. Because you did it amazing. You did this like amazing, like almost, I think it was like a rap. But we were playing like offline, and I even remember commenting after you did it, where I was like, "Motherfucker, why don't we have footage of that?"
You should just record just for the heck of it to be on the safe side.
Well, so I've been thinking, right? I could definitely make a Phasmophobia retrospective. The retrospective would be ironic because like I'd drop it like it would be like Phasmophobia 1 week later because I just drop it like right after the game comes out. But it's been like if it comes out this Halloween, say, like by then we'll have been playing it for 3 years. Like that's kind of wild, isn't it? It's like we've been playing this game for years. It's not even fucking out yet.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot. It has changed a lot.
Yeah, like if you go back and watch like the old like highlights videos that we've put out with the Phas clips in, and you look at it and you go, wow, that was what Phas used to look like.
Yeah, it's insane. It's fun, but it's insane, yeah. It's insane to see the development of a game. It's really fun to see that.
It's fun to be able to like watch it as well, like all the way through from start to finish. Well, not from start to finish, but you know, from like not the end to the end.
Yeah.
Which I guess you have some more expertise on more than I do.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. The difference I've seen certain games change, it's insane. And I had an awesome epiphany moment today when I was just like, nice.
That's awesome. Like
that's all I'm going to say. I can't say anything.
Yeah, of course.
That's nice.
Like I will save you from saying anything else by saying like I really enjoy watching like videos about game development where you see like the prototypes and like the like the GTA footage that leaked last year that everybody was losing their minds over. I was watching that and going, Jesus, this looks really good for like what it is. It's like when you see like some of them are just fucking triangles and squares and like gray space, and it's just like and to me that's really interesting. I really like looking at that. Like I don't know, I love it. It's great. And then you see it and it's Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's like it started off and it's just like a T-posed character and floating across a gray world, blocks stacked on top of each other.
I remember seeing the footage for Spider-Man. It was amazing. Yeah. Especially to think that was a year later we got the game.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 this year as well.
Hopefully. It obviously isn't fully confirmed, but it does seem like that's what they're aiming towards. But we'll see, definitely like that. I have to bring in one before we get on to the main topic. Last of Us continues to be the best thing on TV right now. Sure. It's amazing. Can't wait. We're getting 2 episodes. We've already had one episode. We had the Sunday episode, but we're getting the early episode.
Oh, I read about that.
Releases tomorrow because they're getting the fuck out of the way of the Super Bowl, which is understandable.
Yeah, I was like, it took me a minute to work out why they were putting on an early episode, and I was like, oh, it's the Super Bowl on Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it drops Friday, so I'll be watching it on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, surprisingly, I haven't heard as much about the latest episode of The Last of Us as I had the previous one. It's almost like Twitter is buried itself in a different topic. And then it broke last night. The entire of Twitter broke last night for a good hour.
Nice.
It's fallen a bit. It's amazing. It's amazing to watch.
Nice.
It's pretty funny. No one could tweet. All the DMs disappeared.
Oh, those poor people who couldn't tweet. I'm so not caring for you at all.
Thanks.
And some of you are my friends, but sorry. Social media free, baby.
He wants to enact a limit on how many, there's all these limits that he wants to put on free, people using free Twitter, because obviously there's a Twitter Blue, which is a subscription thing, and one of them is you're only going to be able to tweet so many times per day. And I was like, on the one hand, that's a terrible idea, because all of your content is tweets. So it's
on the other hand, with how things are going,
it's probably best not to limit that content if it's the thing that sells your brand. Yeah. But on the other hand, I think that would be really healthy for a lot of people to just have to, right, you can only have 20 tweets a day. That's it, right? That might actually, be a bit healthier. All it's going to do is, eventually people are going to actually migrate to a different social media.
They'll just get the blue subscription. They won't move. They'll just buy the blue subscription.
That's what everybody said about MySpace. Yeah, MySpace will never die. Friendster. Remember Friendster? I remember Friendster. Because
never heard of it.
Because I am from a different era. I have seen the entire history of the internet with my own eyes.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel blessed with that as well. Some of the things some of my workmates come up with, and I'm just like, and it's have you ever heard of this? No. What do you mean you haven't heard of this? No, I haven't.
I don't do that. I'm not that kind of person. If I say have you ever heard of X?
No, they're not mean about it whatsoever. They're not mean about it whatsoever.
What do you mean you haven't heard of it? I'm yeah, of course you haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's from the dinosaur age. It's from the age when you used to have to connect to your modem and it went beep, beep, boo.
Yeah.
And then someone answered the phone and you lost it.
They're really funny about it. It's really funny. But it's just no. Damn, man. And it's I feel pretty blessed. So it's just like that. I feel pretty blessed. And I missed all of this dumb shit.
I'm not going to lie, Moody. It's still dumb shit.
Yeah, true. That's true.
It never stopped being dumb shit.
Yeah. That's true. We can't
Speaking of dumb shit.
We can all speak about dumb shit.
It's almost like that's what this podcast is all about. Let's talk about the main topic. I need to find a way to integrate that blurb into the intro just so we can I'll figure it out.
Figure it out, Amy.
Where you go, what we do, timestamps, etc. I always feel like timestamps, saying we've got timestamps after the big long conversation where we just chat about nonsense is kind of redundant. Because it's if you wanted to skip that big long conversation, you definitely could have, but you didn't. Oops. It's the main topic. I don't have anything to read. Just Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy dropped this week.
Did.
Obviously, it's reviewing reasonably well overall.
Sure.
It's on course apparently to sell about 10 million copies worldwide.
Ooh.
Joy to that.
Yeah. We always knew we were going to make a thing. We always knew we were going to do a podcast. And then we moved the day of the podcast, and I didn't realize that, inadvertently moved the podcast to launch day. When we moved the date.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that now until you literally just clicked.
It's this goes out on launch day. Excellent.
Technically people already have it, man. They've bought it early. A lot of them have bought it early.
Oh yeah, I've seen people playing
thing.
it. I've seen people I know playing it. On the old Xboxes and Steams. Just saying. But No, I didn't know what to talk about. Like, what? Because we've done this twice now. Like in the past year, like there was a gameplay reveal back at the PlayStation Direct last year, and we did a whole thing about Hogwarts Legacy. And then last year there must have been something going on because we did it again. And then it's like, trilogies are cool, but like it's like we've been down this rabbit hole twice. And then it's like, what do we even like make this about? And it's like, because I don't want to talk to I'm not like at no point am I ever like addressing like the bigots and the turfs and the arseholes and the people who want to buy Harry Potter to stick it to the like people like me, right? Then I was like, oh yeah. And then this week happened, right? The reviews dropped on Monday. Even before that, like having discussions with certain people about things, and people who like to call themselves allies. And I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want. I can call myself well rested, but it doesn't make it true. So yeah, I don't know. Like,
you would have wanted this main topic. You would have wanted to put it down and everything. So I was going off from your lead and everything like that. Obviously, deep down, this does not affect that. What happens with Hogwarts Legacy doesn't affect me whatsoever. I hate to say that or anything like that, but it is true. It is the facts. I am just a pasty white dude, pansexual man. That's all I am. I am nothing else, nothing more. You are an amazing woman who is transitioning, a bigoted woman who owns this property is trying to basically destroy you all for some weird reason. She's literally decided, that great character I created, not Harry Potter, no, not that one. Hermione Granger, no, not that one. Ron Weasley, nah, not that one. Which one are you talking about? Dumbledore, Snape, no. Voldemort. I'm going to become Voldemort. That's what she's fucking decided to do, which we already know this. She's a complete bigot. We've spoken to people and said why this is a thing that's, please don't play this please don't play this game. Do not support this game. Do not support the bigotry, because at the end of the day, she's going to use what she's earned from this game to hurt trans people. Trans people, I've seen it, even though I'm not on social media anymore, I still watch stuff.
Yeah.
Get death threats from crazy every single day. And it's been amplified even more since this game was announced, and amplified even more since this game came out. Again, this doesn't affect me. I am literally a pasty white dude, like I've already said. You're an awesome pasty white dude. But I hate to see. But I'm also a person, and it's not about saying I'm an ally or anything like that. It's what I am is a person who is I despise bigotry, and I despise anyone who says that this person, any type of person, doesn't deserve to live, doesn't deserve to have a life. And that's what it's all about here. And she literally, I remember one of my favorite YouTubers out there right now, Jesse Gender. He's amazing. Literally just tweeted but not even about Harry Potter, I think it was, and J.K. Rowling saw and messaged her, and she got nothing but abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse, and still gets abused to this day for that. For her, what Voldemort and her allies or people who support her do is disgusting and discrimination, and it's vile, and I hate to see this. And I'll state this right now. Amy knows this. I'm a massive fan of Harry Potter. I would love to, and I've always wanted this type of game from what I'm hearing. A game is not as more important than a person's life. Yeah. That's facts. I'm sorry, people. I work in the games industry. There's games that are coming out that I'm working on. I would love you to play and everything like that. But if I was working for a company or something like that who were bigger than the company, I probably wouldn't be there, and I would be calling them out saying, do not play their games and whatnot. But I'm very not knowledgeable on this whole situation or anything like that. I only go off what you may hear me speak about and what I read and everything like that. And but when it just comes down to is one thing only. Trans people are people. Nothing more, nothing else. They deserve to have a life. They deserve to have the basic rights that me, a pasty white dude, has. Nothing more, nothing else. And to see all the crap, read all the crap, is terrible to even think about and read.
Yeah.
I can't say anything else.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, you can, and I love you for it.
I could.
It has been a disappointing week. Because like we've talked about the game and the issues, because the game is almost beside the point, like the game and whatever is in it, and however good or bad it is, and everything. Like the point is like what supporting that game does, right? And we've talked about it a lot. Like we as in me and you, and we as in the trans community and our allies. And so to spend this week seeing people I've respected for a long time, some people I would even say I would have called my friends, just disregard all of it so that they can play a video game is incredibly disappointing. Like, and it has been a disappointing like week. And I'm one of the people who is like been open to like talking to people. I've had conversations with a lot of people over the past week. Some of them have been excessively frustrating. Some of them have made me feel like, well, yeah, shit. And some of them have been really positive, like, and because people will actually listen. But there's a lot of people who in the past sort of week and a half have just decided that they don't want to listen. And the way that they've been talking, like on social media, on if they have platforms on podcasts or whatever, I don't know if they ever were listening. Like, I think they followed the lead of like trans people by saying fuck J.K. Rowling, but then they never go any steps further than that. Like, they never like break down the issues, talk about like what is actually going on, because on the face of it, right, it sounds ridiculous. Like, please don't support this video game because doing so will like cause harm to a community of people. It's on the face of it that, like, if that's the statement, that sounds stupid. It does, because in the end it is just a video game. But that's the point. It's not just that the video game itself isn't going to bust my door down and stab me, right? Like, I'm well aware of that. Like, the video game itself isn't going to do harm. It's the support that the video game gets, and where that support goes, and then what that then leads to from there. But I never see that second step from a lot of people. The kind of people I'm talking about. And, if you know that's not you, then you know that's not you, right? And Vitz said something really prescient on Twitter that I wrote down because I didn't want to forget it. He said something really, really spot on Twitter, which was in a tweet, which was, any mental anguish you feel weighing up your decisions isn't the fault of the trans community or their allies. Like, I think what's happened is people who believe themselves to be allies, in this case of the trans community, have done a thing. They've bought the game, they're supporting the game, they're using sometimes their sizable platforms to continue to support the game. And obviously they're getting a lot of support from people who don't know any better. And hey, it's okay to not know any better. I've had conversations this week with people who have no idea most of this is going on. And also people who do know better and are supporting them for malicious reasons, because they're the kind of people who are waving their pre-orders in the faces of trans people and sending them DMs that say Avada Kedavra. And then when people like myself have come to them and said, hey, look, man, this isn't cool, this isn't supportive, this isn't allyship, like, they've gotten defensive about that and they've lashed out in my direction because I'm just pointing out the thing that we've been saying for months. Like, if you support this game, you're not really an ally. Like, it's the one thing, right? Like, I don't give a shit if you love Harry Potter. I don't give a shit if you've always loved Harry Potter. Like, if Harry Potter was an extremely important part of your life, I get it. And I can't take that away from you, and neither can J.K. Rowling. But this one video game, the harm that this one video game and supporting it can lead to is just not worth it. And if you choose to support that game anyway, like, I'm not sitting here going, you can't do it, I'm banning you from playing a video game. Obviously I can't do that. All people are saying is this is what that leads to, and if you do it, I'm not really going to feel safe or comfortable in a space with you. And you're reacting badly to that because, as Vitz later went on to say in a private message to me, which again I feel like he hit the nail on the head, it's people wanting to be seen to be allies and not necessarily people actually being allies. Because allyship isn't a thing that you say. You don't claim it. You don't say, I am an ally because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that you just do. Like, you and Phil, who I told a private story about that I'm not going to repeat here, did things this week that were allyship. And at no point did you go, yeah, you know, like, you're not like parading that allyship around, whereas other people seem to want to be seen as being an ally, but not actually do the work of being an ally because it's inconvenient. Because I saw a video from Steve Shravs, who is, again, is not a trans person. Hit the fucking nail on the head, which what it boils down to is, how hard is it not to buy a video game? How difficult is that? To not do something you don't have to do.
Yeah, not that difficult at all, because you don't buy a lot of games anyway throughout your life. You don't.
There are so many video games out right now. You can play video games for all, you can play video games for the rest of your life and never run out.
Yeah.
If no new ones came out, because that's how many video games exist. And yeah, it's just like, I mean, that's the crux of it. Like, it's a mild inconvenience to not buy a video game, and like, if people can't even do that, like, when shit gets really real, what are you gonna do, man? Like, because being an ally sometimes means things have to be inconvenient. Like, Star Trek is something that is so fucking, like, near and dear to my heart. Like, I've got a bazillion Star Trek ships down there, and I've got a bazillion more behind me. I've got a dedication plaque for the freaking USS Enterprise up there. Like, I love Star Trek, and it's been an important part of my life since I can remember. It was like one of my first memories is watching Star Trek with my parents. And like, it's one of the only things that I've ever been able to really connect with my dad. And if this was about Star Trek and not Harry Potter, and me supporting Star Trek was something that was going to harm a community of people, I just wouldn't watch Star Trek Picard and Strange New Worlds and all the rest of them anymore, because it's not worth it. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be shit. It would be shit, but it would also be pretty easy because it turns out like it takes more effort to push play on a video than not.
Yeah, actually, it does actually.
Yeah.
I've hummed and hard to watch some stuff sometimes. It's just like, do I want to watch this? Do I not want to watch this type of thing? And that's the crust about it. Like, I've seen a lot of people come out and say, well, if it was this, I probably would it probably would affect me more and everything like that. That's the laziest answer I've ever seen.
It's also a really infuriating answer, and I'm sorry to butt in, but I just need to get this point out before I forget it. It's also a really infuriating answer, because what you're doing there is, like, and I've seen people say this as well, we're probably talking about the same people, like, well, if this was this, I would feel torn as well. Okay, but you see what you're doing is you're centering yourself in this. Like, and this isn't about you. You know, like, maybe if it was me and you that had this conversation and you had said, well, you know, if this was about Bulbasaur, like, I would be torn too. And it's just like, yeah, Moody, but can you put yourself, instead of putting yourself in your own shoes, can you put yourself in my shoes? Well, actually, they're not shoes. I'm wearing slippers right now. Could you put yourself in my slippers? I don't know why I need a visual aid there. Like 11? I've got huge feet. I've got huge feet. It's really annoying. Buying shoes is a nightmare. But yeah, it's like, just like, that's the first step. That's the first step where everything goes wrong. It's like you said, if you center yourself in this, you're never going to have that empathy for somebody else's position.
Yeah, and that's like the ultimate thing, is it's empathy. And they're choosing the quote unquote allies out there choosing what they feel they think they can empathize over and everything like that. Like I said, I think when we talked about it last time, I said during COVID-19, when COVID-19 truly kicked off, we had a massive racism thing happen in America.
We did.
George Floyd, and everybody got behind them in support of George Floyd and stopping the craziness and the bigotry that was happening over there in America. Sadly, it still goes on in America, but I do truly believe things have probably changed over there for the better. Hopefully, and over here, I think things people have had their eyes open. Right now, because it's something sadly, which is a terrible thing. It's a lame excuse what I'm saying here, but it's like a lot of people's Harry Potter is the thing of like is their childhood and whatnot like that. And I think that's the thing what they just can't get past either. Sometimes like this is my childhood. I grew up with it. I say I don't care if you grew up with it. I really don't. I grew up with it. I grew up with it, buddy. Late mid teenager years for it when I grew up with it. But I grew up with the bugger. I don't care. I don't. Like Harry Potter is an amazing product, but it is run by a bigot who should not be getting any more money, and everything. And it's like people's excuses are they're just trying to find it's. I found out over the last few years, especially I've spoken this to you private about this, Amy, but I'll say it out loud.
Sure.
I'm a very black and white person when it comes to good things or bad things. I don't like the in the middle grade because for me, you're trying to find a loophole or a little back door or something like that just to try and justify for you to try and do something. That's all it is. It's either black or white. You're either an ally, a proper ally in supporting the trans community, donating to trans charities, not playing this game whatsoever, and being out there and supporting them, or you're not, and you're just wanting to play this game just because you want to play this game, and your allyship means nothing, absolutely nothing. So I hate that because I truly believed, like a few years ago when we were seeing the thing with George Floyd, it was like we're seeing a lot of amazing people coming out and trying to support the family, trying to support the bigotry that was going on. They don't realize the bigotry is going on now with the trans community. It's the same thing. It's bigotry, nothing more, nothing else, and you're hiding away from it. And I hate that. It's disgusting. You're being lazy. You want to play Harry Potter? Good for you. What's more important, your game or a person's life? That's it. Black or white? A game or someone's life? Two options. One is very simple to choose. One is very simple to throw away.
Yeah, that does lead me my brain in its weird way to another point, which was like every discussion has been like, and maybe this is just me and my Twitter because obviously I am trans, but every discussion has been centered around like trans issues. Like, you know, people put out the reviews and they did the things and they're doing their think pieces and they want to play the game, so they want to do the thing. They want to do it so bad that they're talking themselves around like to doing it, like giving themselves the justifications, and it's always centered around trans people. And I think people are forgetting, and I've tweeted this out, people are forgetting that there are also issues with racism and anti-Semitism here. Like, can we not forget that?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to...
That's why I say bigotry in general.
Yeah, that's why you say bigotry in general, absolutely. And I just... Like, I'm running out of benefits of the doubt to give to people, because what I'm starting to see now is that this is being turned around by people who are now getting defensive because trans people and their actual allies are like holding their hands up as this is happening and saying, you know, this isn't cool because of these reasons. And if you want me to go through the reasons, I'm not going to do that. Google is free. Go fucking do some research yourself. But what I'm starting to like suspect is that trans people, like, and racism and anti-Semitism are rife throughout society, but trans people are seen societally as an acceptable target for hatred, and everything is becoming centered on trans people. And I'm just starting to wonder if maybe that's because it's okay to talk shit on them. Right?
Well, that's the thing about it. It goes back to the part of that people that sadly the bigots out there think that trans people are not human type of thing. And that's the thing about it. You are. You're a person. You're a human being.
Yeah.
There's nothing more, nothing else. Yes, you are in the transition of changing your gender to the person you were always meant to be, to the sex you were always meant to be, and everything like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand why that is even worrisome for people. It's just like, it doesn't make sense to me, because it's just like, for God's sakes, people just want to be who they want to be. I want to be who I want to be. My partner wants to be who she wants to be. Everybody has the right to be who they want to be. Yeah, for some reason, and I'm gonna go politically a little bit. Governments want to try and stop trans people being who they want to be, and because they're getting manipulated, well, not manipulated, they're listening to Voldemort, and it's a whole fucking thing, and it's disgusting. The human lives are not political. They shouldn't be political at all. It's like, do you have a right to live? Are you a human? Yes, you have a right to live. Not saying that even if you weren't human, you don't have a right to live. You have a right to fucking live because you are a sentient being in general. So, like, just, I hate this thing. Because it just doesn't make sense to me. Bigotry just doesn't make sense. Why would you want to get out of bed and literally go, I'm going to tweet out and I'm going to say the most racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic thing ever. And because of Elon Musk, no one's going to be able to stop me. Fuck the ladders. I don't understand it.
Spot on impression.
I don't. And yet there's people out there who do this, who want to do this. It's tiresome. My brain's hurting now.
That's fine. That's fine. Like, I don't really want to.
I can only imagine how your head is.
I don't really want to like center like that part of the like conversation in here, because I'm really not.
Yeah, I know that.
Like I said at the top, I'm really not aiming to talk to bigots and whatnot here. Like, I am trying to like reach people who, again, have said in the past that they're going to support, that they want to be supportive, like, and are choosing not to be, like, and, you know, hey, you do with this, you do with that. And I'm not the only person saying this stuff, you know, like, there's plenty of people, much bigger YouTubers, much bigger content creators, much bigger journalists saying roughly, broadly the same things. And I've talked to them. I've talked to game devs. I've talked to a lot of my friends. And a lot of them have experienced a lot of shit. I've told Moody privately some stuff that I've gone through in this past week directly relating to this. I'm not going to say it here because, you know, I'm not going to start dragging like random people into this, but like, I have a voice and I'm willing to use it, but I can totally understand why there are people who just don't want to, because it's just not worth it's just not worth it. Like, and honestly, like, that's fair. Like, there's people I've talked to who are trans, who are going through it, who are just keeping it in because it's tough to rock the boat.
Yeah, it really is.
And what I will say, if anyone is watching this who is trans, who is in that position, I don't mind rocking the boat. I'll rock the shit out of it for you. That's fine. I don't mind. Like, I'll fight anyone. I'll fight God if I have to. But yeah, it's more just like I wanted to sort of address the quote unquote allies who will probably be parading around with their allyship in June as if none of this ever happened. But the thing is, for every me, right, who has a conversation with you about this, whether it's a conversation where it's like talking to a brick wall, or whether it's a conversation where we actually have a conversation, there's going to be plenty of people who will just quietly leave your communities or your friendships or whatever, like they will just go because from their perspective, like a conversation with me is a conversation with me, right? From my perspective, it's a conversation with them while also a conversation with this other person and this other person. And then I've got these people I'm talking to, and then I'm talking to my friends who are going through, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting like 30 to 1 and I'm getting tired. And I'm going to be honest, I'm getting less polite, like as the week goes on. I can't help it. I'm just getting towards the end of my tether, but I'll just grab another one, beat you up with it. That was a
which
joke.
is understandable. Which is understandable. Like you're just trying to live your life, and people are making it difficult for just over a game.
Yeah,
and it's shit. But I do want to shout out like some people if possible.
Let's go.
I want to shout out Jesse Gender, an amazing YouTuber, an amazing person. Deserves all the love and everything like that. So go and give her love. I'm very surprised I was going to say this, but shout out to the websites that didn't review this game. I think GameSpot didn't review it. Kotaku haven't reviewed it.
As far as I'm aware, yeah, there's been no Eurogamer, no Polygon, no Kotaku, no GameSpot.
Shout out to them. At the end of the day, they probably were given a code and everything or sent a code, and they decided not to. And that's amazing. I'd like to think that at least some sites out there decided we don't need this. We're going to do the right thing, and that is put up GameSpot have put out an article.
Jesse's article,
an article about the charities for trans people and everything. Go and support them and everything, and that's out here. Like if a big site like that, what gets millions of people coming in every week, can do this. One person, you can literally not buy this game. It ain't hard. But yeah, it's a lot of people out there deserve a lot of love. A lot of people deserve a lot of love. So shout out to all those people who have done the right thing here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Don't come to me saying, "Oh, it's not. I don't know if it's the right thing if I don't play this game or support this game or anything like that." Because if you come at me saying, "I want to support developers," I'm going to shove that down your throat. I really am. Because, seriously, shut up. They've already been paid. And if you're going to say, well, I'm going to stop them getting fired. No, you're not. That is welcome to AAA development, you imbeciles. I am not going to hold back on you. You're imbeciles if you think that. The big AAA developers, just the AAA publishers, sack the teams and refresh. They always do. Always do. And it's just one of the disgusting things that happens in AAA development. EA do it. Activision Blizzard do it. Ubisoft do it. Many, many more do it and everything. And it's the same at Warner Brothers. So don't think of, I'm going to support developers so they get paid. They get paid. They got paid throughout the entire development of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't handcuff them, say, until this game comes out.
Yeah.
With whips on the back. Get this game developed so we can then pay you, maybe, if we want to. I don't know. We'll decide if the game is good.
Yeah.
It's no, they get paid every week or monthly.
Yeah. Game development is a dream for a lot of people. It was a dream for you, but it is also just a job.
Yeah. It is a dream what I'm doing, but it is the job at the same time. And
the support the developers argument pisses me off for a different reason.
It's
because
lazy.
I'm sure you're a developer, and I get why it pisses you off. It pisses me off because what makes the developers at Avalanche, who I am not attacking in any way, they are there to do a job, and hey, a lot of them are probably sound. What makes the developers of Avalanche software more worthy of your support than all of the other games that have come out this year that you haven't bought? Because if we're going down the I just want to support game developers route, where do you find the money and time to buy and play every single game that's ever come out? I don't think that's unfair, right? Because why were the developers who made Hogwarts Legacy more worthy of your support than the developers that made Forspoken? They both work just as hard to make the game. And that's just one example. I'm sure there's someone out there right now shouting at their screen, but I actually played Forspoken as well. Well, pick a game that you didn't play. There's been plenty of them this year already. Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, GoldenEye. You know, like I'm sure there was
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that you haven't fucking supported.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. Like, I want to support AAA developers or developers in general. I want to fuck JK Rowling token. They're all lazy token gestures that you just use it as an excuse, again, as a loophole to justify for yourself to play the game.
If you want to support game developers, and I'm sure Moody will back me up on this, argue and fight for better working conditions for them.
Yeah, you're never there for that. You are never there for that at all. Sometimes you actually support the developer instead of supporting the staff.
Yeah.
I remember you Call of Duty people who complained that the QA's team were off and you couldn't get updates for your Call of Duty game.
I remember that.
I remember the shit you guys put out there. Go fuck yourself for that.
Like, yeah, it's like we go back to the whole thing of like, you know, no one's telling you that you can't play COD or Overwatch, right? It's just like, can we just acknowledge the elephant in the room while we do so? Like, I know I'm the wrong person to really talk about that because like I haven't played an Activision or a Ubisoft game for years, right? And I'm not using that to get on a high horse. But if I decided to play the next Assassin's Creed, like I'll do that. That's fine, and I'll talk about the issues. And Ubisoft isn't enacting a massive campaign to wipe a minority group off the face of the planet. Like, and that's the difference. Because I've seen some people try to equate those two things. I just thought, as we were talking about it, I would bring it up very quickly.
No, yeah. People out there, you choose what you want to be. There's only two choices here. There really is. And you choose what you want.
Yeah.
I've drawn my line.
There's a 5-minute YouTube video by Steve Shrives I'm going to suggest that you watch. It's very, very good and very to the point. And maybe a little aggressive, but at this point, I feel like it's earned. Last point before we move on to doing the rest of the podcast. A little story from me to you, which is like my family has this friend, and she's quite old. And she doesn't really get a lot of things. And every Christmas, she doesn't have like other like family, so every Christmas we invite her to Christmas dinner. And every Christmas dinner, I have to sit there and put up with being dead named and misgendered by this person. And at the end of it, she gives me a Christmas card, and that Christmas card has £100 in it. So what I'm saying is, if you do want to support J.K. Rowling and you do want to support Hogwarts Legacy, you owe me money. Coffee.com/wordsaboutgames. It's in the description down below. Do you like that one?
I like that.
She can get away with it because she gives me £100 every time I see her. And you can too for the low price of
£100.
£100. Coffee.com/wordsaboutgames. Anyway, should we move on? Do you want to? Should we just take a few minutes to just decompress before we move on with the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, let's decompress. Let's shake it off. Let's do this.
Oh God.
Type of thing. Like, yeah, it was always going to be a strong topic that we were going to talk about, and everything when it came to this game, when it came to that person and everything. And I'll say this: like, I'm not sorry for any of the people who you think any to you who listen to you think I've offended you. No, if you disagree with anything that we've said, seriously, hop on.
If you've gotten defensive over the idea that like you playing this game is and then me saying, hey, that doesn't really make you an ally of the trans community. If you've gotten defensive about that statement, you need to look inward. And what you all really need to do is stop making it my fucking problem, and then wondering why I'm getting more and more frustrated. Like, you know, like, don't make it my problem. It's not your decisions aren't my problem. Essentially, right?
Exactly.
Like I've never said no, you can't. I've said please don't. If you choose to do that anyway, whatever happens next, that's on you, not on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Spock says in Strange New Worlds, arm yourself with knowledge.
Exactly. I forgot he said that. Because he's hot Spock in Strange New Worlds.
Fitz has been watching it, so I've been like talking to him. He's been talking to me about it, so it's on my mind. Hot Spock. Hot everyone.
Spock.
Everyone on that show is hot.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, everyone's hot on that show. It's freaky.
It's
kind of
like,
scary.
Oh, okay. What was happening?
Like,
Sorry, I lost
the original cast. You could always just like, all right, there's some all right, good-looking ones there. But now it's just like everyone's just like, oh, mama, who do I look at?
You're just like,
oh,
the scene is happening and something important is happening, and you just go, what was happening? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Like that, and you're like, there's something important happening here. I know there is, but I don't know. I've lost all control of my head right now.
Just that's how I watched all the episodes of Strange New Worlds. Especially when Pike was cooking.
He knew how to cook. He knew how to cook.
He did.
He did. He did indeed. Indie game of the week, Amy. Let's talk about a game that we all want you to actually play.
Yeah.
And wishlist.
This game looks fucking sick as well. Like, normally indie game of the week is, hey, here's an interesting game that looks cool. This week, it's, this game looks fucking amazing. Like, fucking, I love Steam Next Fest. I haven't had a chance to play any demos because my head has been melting down.
Understandable,
but
yeah.
Like, I've seen like the lists that people have been putting out, and I've been reading about the games and stuff, and this game looks fucking great. I actually might try and do some Steam Next Fest stuff tomorrow. Like, not make a video about it, but just play some demos for myself. But anyway, this week's indie game of the week is Shadows of Doubt. Shadows of Doubt is set in an alternate reality in the hyper-industrialized 1980s. Think like a detective and use a variety of gadgets as a private intelligence investigator, gathering evidence and making money by solving cases, finding and selling information, and more. Play your own way in a fully simulated world with hundreds of citizens. Discover, meet, and tail individual citizens, each with their own name, job, apartment, daily routine, in unique, procedurally generated cities. Each case has different culprits, clues, and experiences for you to test your investigative skills. The entire world is fully simulated. Each citizen has an apartment, etc., and places to go and people to interact with. They live out their lives independently in a world that moves on with or without you. Uncover this knowledge and use it to your advantage. Become a private investigator in a truly unique detective experience. Think like a detective to solve cases around you, check call histories, find passwords, read private emails, speak to persons of interest, watch CCTV footage, and more to retrieve evidence and build your case. Store information on your investigation board and link evidence together as you piece together the full picture. Shadows of Doubt is being developed by Cole Powered Games, published by Fireshine Games. It's coming soon to PC via Steam, and there's a link in the description. Definitely fucking wishlist this one. This looks incredible. Procedurally, it's a detective game where everything is procedurally generated every time you play it. Like the characters, the environment, the city itself, like it's. This is like Amy's wet dream come to life.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, Amy, that does look like your wet dream.
Like, this is incredible. I
can't
wait.
Star Trek characters around it.
I can't wait. Yeah, with Star Trek Strange New World Season 2 on the monitor, just every now and again being like, yeah, no, fuck yeah. I can't wait to make a 5-hour video about this in like 2 years.
Only a 5-hour video.
Yeah, only a 5-hour. I'll rate myself in.
You'll rail yourself in.
I'll rein myself in. Railing myself in would be something completely different.
Whatever floats your boat, It's time for the rest of the news, Amy.
Yeah, I changed the thing for table of contents.
Have you?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I was meant to, and then I forgot. I'm sure I did. Wait, did I change it on the template and not on the... I fucking did. I changed it on the fucking blank template, and I didn't change it on the actual document. God damn it.
Oh. Never mind. Never mind.
Also,
It's
just
okay.
before we start
There.
doing the rest of the news of the week, massive shout out to you, Moody, because I messaged you a couple of days ago and I said, "Listen, man, can you just drop links on me and I'll just like put the thing together because I'm not in the right headspace to like think about anything else right now." And you just went, "Yep." And then this morning, I looked at my phone, boom, there's a bunch of links. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's the hardest I've worked in days. Put a sweat on for this one.
It's possible that people from your workplace might watch this, right?
No, it's not. Trust me on that.
It is if I happen. Anyway.
What?
Indie Game of the Week is by Merge Games. At Merge Games. Oops, did I put the wrong time code in there? I'm just joking.
Let's start Nintendo. Nintendo Switch is officially the third best selling console of all time, maybe.
It is.
You called it.
So yeah.
This is something you called a while ago. You asked the question, do you ask me, do I think it would catch PS4? I was not sure. I think I said no at the time.
I asked you two questions. I said, do you think it'll catch the PS4? And I said, do you think it'll be the best selling console of all time? And I think you said yes to one and no to the second. But basically, I'm just going to read the stats. I'm not going to read the full story, which is basically like Nintendo put out their financial results. And the Switch is sold more than 122 million units, which means it's now gone past PlayStation 4, which sold 117 million, and the Game Boy, which sold 118 million. And we'll get back to talking about the Game Boy later, but there are only now two consoles that have outsold Nintendo Switch, which is the Nintendo DS, which sold 154 million, and the PlayStation 2, which sold 155 million and is the best-selling video game console of all time. Also, it's outsold its predecessor, the Wii U, by quite a significant margin, because that console sold 13 million units. And I was one of the owners, and I will say that console was bad and the controller was bad, but the games were really good.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, but anyway, they're re-releasing most of the games on Switch now anyway, so it's fine. But
That's true.
yeah, so Nintendo Switch is now the third best-selling console of all time.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's well deserved. The console, it's a great console. There's no doubt about it. It's great for the small indie games and everything like that. Mm-hmm. It's fucking terrible to fucking develop for. That's all I'll say that for.
Sure.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Sure.
It's a pain in the backside. But no, yeah, it's Nintendo brought out a console that was just the perfect mix of playing at home and playing handheld.
Mm-hmm.
They balanced the two brilliantly. And it works really well. And yeah, congratulations to them. There's no doubt about it. They've had a very great, an enormous success with this product they have. So well done.
It's just awesome. Like to see like Nintendo had such a bad couple of bad generation with the Wii U that a lot of people were speculating like, oh, they fucked. Like, because if Switch sells 13 million units, like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? But it didn't. It was a masterstroke, right? Combining their handheld and home consoles into one thing was just a fucking genius move. Like, it's gotten me into playing games that I was never able to play because I never had a Nintendo handheld, right? But now, like, all those franchises have come to the console that I have, which is awesome. I can play Fire Emblem and Pokemon one day. And
one day.
Yeah, and then I get to take things like Zelda and like play them on the move, right? Like I remember playing Zelda on the bus, like, and not like a little top-down Zelda. I'm talking about like fucking Breath of the Wild. I was playing Breath of the Wild. I was on the bus, Moody. I couldn't see anything because it was sunny, but I was still playing Zelda, and like it's just such a great console. Like, so that's the question again. I'm gonna ask it every time we bring this up, but do you think it could potentially be, when all is said and done, the best-selling console of all time?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Like, you know me and predictions, but this one is just like it's got a 20. Maths is great. 24 million units it would need to sell to be the best-selling console of all time, and probably 2 years left before the new console comes out, I'd say.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years. I don't think it's coming out next year. So I don't know. I think it could. We'll see what Zelda does for it. But like at this point, I feel like software isn't going to drive sales. If they released a Switch Pro, maybe it would have a stronger chance. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that, Jason. Stop it. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Congratulations to Nintendo.
Congratulations for not fucking it up.
Thank you for not fucking it up.
Yeah. Yeah, let's stick with Nintendo. Go to the Direct.
So I watched this last night.
I didn't watch this last night because I only found out about it this morning.
I probably, if I'd have been more present in our Discord, I probably would have been like, "Hey, Moody, there's a Direct tonight," but I wasn't. But yeah, no, there was a Direct last night. It was 40 minutes long. They said it was focused, right? They said, right, it's going to be focused on games that come out in the first half of 2023.
Yeah,
that's what they said on Twitter, and I went, "Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what Nintendo does." And then the first game that they showed is coming out in the second half of 2023.
Sounds about right.
Most of the games that they showed are coming out in the second half of 2023. So then I was like, Nintendo? Are you drunk?
Probably a little bit.
But no, it was a good Direct, you know? Like, it had it had little bits for everyone. I mean, you can see because I've put the whole list of everything that was there on our doc, like just for reference. I'm not going to go through every single thing. There was a lot there. Like, that's the thing about Nintendo Direct. It's like you watch a PlayStation or an Xbox showcase or a PlayStation Direct. I still can't remember PlayStation. What the fuck are those things called? PlayStation ones. State of Play. You watch the State of Play. I always forget the name. You watch an Xbox showcase.
I don't think they have a name for it.
They just call them developer showcases. Developer Direct. I just call them showcases.
I call them Microsoft Directs.
Xbox Directs and PlayStation Directs. Like, you don't get that much there, right? So if there's nothing there for you and you've just spent like 30 minutes watching 5 games, you kind of go, oh well. But
yeah, no doubt.
With Nintendo, like, they'll just go through a lot of stuff really, really quickly. And there was some cool stuff for everyone. I really enjoyed it. The biggest thing that came out of it for me was the Game Boy games. Like, there was a lot of cool like games announced or like shown, which I definitely want to talk about. But for me, like Game Boy games are coming to Switch Online, as part of their whatever it's called with like the classic Nintendo games. And if you've got the Switch Online Plus expansion pass, you'll also be able to get Game Boy Advance games. And that is the first time I have watched a Direct and they've talked about the expansion pass, and I have gone, ooh, maybe I'll get that.
Still no Pokemon games though.
Yeah, that is weird. There's the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah.
When the first Pokemon was a Game Boy game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that they're going to do a Pokemon Direct sometime this year.
They'll do one on
maybe splash it then, maybe
February 27th. Isn't that there's a Pokemon Day this month because you interrupted Elden Ring on stream last year, and we watched the Pokemon stream because it was the Pokemon anniversary.
Yeah, it was the 25th anniversary last year, so I can't see them really doing anything else this year. I think right this year, honestly, I don't think we're really going to get anything really Pokemon centric, and maybe apart from like what I said,
patches
to get.
Maybe some patches for the game.
Lots of patches. But no, the only thing I can think of is that they'll announce the old Pokemon games, Game Boy games, the Game Boy, the advanced games, and etc.
Well, Nintendo seem to be doing this mixture, right? Of like like for example, in the Game Boy stuff, you know, you'll like either they're not out yet. Some of the games are coming that were on screen are coming soon, but like you know, you'll be able to play Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons. Like, but also on the side of that, Link's Awakening was remade a couple of years ago. So like they seem to be like doing both. Like you know, sometimes like on some stuff they'll just re-release it, and then on other stuff they'll remake it, right? So like they Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu were remakes of the first Pokemon game. So
remakes of Red and Blue.
Yeah, so they'll probably not release Red and Blue on their Switch Online service because they've got Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu.
I think it'd be silly not to, because I think a lot of people have that nostalgia to play the old versions. Like I do, I won't lie. I've kind of had the itch to play the old versions of the games sometimes. So I'm like, for me, it's just like they're leaving money on the floor. So it's like, for me, yeah, get red, blue, yellow out there.
I'd love
get
that.
Get gold, silver, and sapphire. No, I can't remember. Crystal. And then obviously it's ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Get those. I think those are all the ones that went up to advance. I think get them all onto this Nintendo Pass thing. Seriously, I think I think you'll get a lot more big subscribers out of, no offense to anything else other than the games that you got on there. I think you'll see your numbers go upwards.
Yeah,
I think you'll get it. I think you'll get a spike because of it, because Pokemon's that generational thing. Like you said, you asked me a question I think a few weeks ago when what was it? Well, the whole thing about what Last of Us was like, and when Last of Us dropped, and everyone was like, "Oh, have they finally broken the curse and everything like that?"
Yeah.
Pokemon broke the curse 25 years ago, guys. It broke the curse 25 years ago. They broke it 25 years ago. It became an anime and became one of the biggest animes of all time. It released films, and it's still going to this day.
And it's still popular. Because like we literally talked about it on a podcast not that long ago, and it's still a thing. It's still a deal, you know.
Ash Ketchum is finally fucking retiring. Only took him 25 years. Somehow he has the elixir of youth because he's still fucking 10. But who cares? But like that for me, they're leaving money on the table, which is just baffling to me. But maybe it's like, it all really depends on what they're working on now and everything. Obviously, they'll probably be starting short concepts of the next generation, which is probably 3-4 years away.
No, I'm just imagining a Pokemon trainer played by Patrick Stewart. It's next generation. Pokemon, the next generation. Engage. Sorry.
It's time to engage.
And he's throwing Pokemon. Engage. But no, like I get your point. Like, and again, like services like this, like they're like for different people, right? Like some people don't want to play all games, that's fine. But I, like, as someone who's like made a fucking backlog list of games to stream. Like to stream through, like, because I want to play the games that I've missed, and as I've been very open about on this podcast, I wasn't a Nintendo kid, and I want to be, like, I want to play all these cool Nintendo games that everybody keeps talking about, and like, so when I saw that they were doing Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, like, and I looked at like the list, and I was like, there's some Zelda games on there, there's a Mario game on there, you know, Golden Sun, like Rebecca Valentine will not stop talking about Golden Sun, so I hope someone's checked on her. I hope she's okay. But like, that's cool. Like, yeah, I think she was on the IGN like live reaction thing as well. For the direct, I might go back and just see her like die when Golden Sun popped up. But like, it's good because it means like there's a Fire Emblem game on there. I've only played one Fire Emblem game, that was Three Houses, and I loved it. But like, all of the other games are inaccessible to me right now, apart from obviously the new one. But like, I'd love to, like, I've got so many Nintendo games on my list that I want to play, and like, it's cool now to be able to do that. So like, when I saw this pop up, I was like, holy shit, this is a bunch of games on here that I could definitely check out and have fun playing. So it did kind of like, it was kind of weird that like all these games, and and I was looking at this going, Game Boy. And I was like, yeah, woohoo.
Yeah, Nintendo have done it sounds like they've done it, even though I didn't watch it, they've announced some really cracking things they did. Like Nintendo always do for the most part. They have games for everybody.
They do.
And that's what's great about it. And they seem like they balanced the show really well, which I'm really happy for and everything.
They did.
And like shout out to all of them. Like
yeah, Pikmin 4 is coming out in July. That's cool. I've never played Pikmin before. Looks interesting. But like the Metroid Prime remaster, it's available now. And from what I'm seeing from like people who have been playing it, like it's a remaster in the same way The Last of Us was a remaster. It's like they've remade this game. Like they've rebuilt it. Like it goes beyond what you would consider a remaster from what other people have been saying. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but that's awesome. And the fact that they just dropped it on people, like the digital version was available just after the show, and then the physical edition is going to be available next month. And people are just playing fucking Metroid Prime.
Nice.
I will say, like, the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom trailer, like, there's a direct, right? And Zelda's coming out in May, so you got to put something in here. But to me, it felt unnecessary. Like, I watched the trailer, and I am no further forward in any knowledge of anything about this game, other than it still exists. Like, that's what the trailer felt like. It's like, hey, it still exists. We have to put a trailer in here, otherwise the internet's going to get mad at us. Which is fair. You know, I don't want the internet to get mad at me. Like, you know. Like, if it can just do something like that. But, like, it was weird where I just watched it, and it just washed over me to the point where I didn't really... I had to watch it again before we started recording, because I was like, I don't remember this trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are like dissecting it and really enjoyed it and losing their minds over it and stuff, and that's awesome. But like for me, I was just like, that was one of the things that just didn't really impact me from the direct. And I'm someone who's looking forward to playing Tears of the Kingdom, so
I'm intrigued by it. Not gonna lie.
Other things that stuck out: Octopath Traveler 2. There's a demo up on the eShop. And your stuff carries over into the full game. That's just pretty standard with like these JRPGs that have been coming out on Switch. I remember playing Triangle Strategy last year, doing the demo, and then carrying it over into the main game like the next month when it came out. So I want to check that out. The Sea of Stars demo, like they announced the release date for Sea of Stars, which is August 29th, and there's a demo available on the eShop. I'm really interested to check that out because Sea of Stars is one of my most anticipated games of the year for sure.
Nice.
Just looking through the list. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania looks cool. Disney Illusion Island looked cool. Like there's like this 4-player co-op Disney game where you play as like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. And it looked kind of fun. Everybody has grappling hooks and swings around. And it did
so
pop.
we're going to do Uncharted 4 way.
Yeah. The Halo Infinite way. Why hasn't this been in the game? Why hasn't this been in the entire series? The game I was playing for the video I was making has a grappling hook in it, and I am slowly becoming one of those people that's just like all games need a grappling hook.
Sandbox game, you need a grappling hook.
Yeah, I don't care, man.
But
visual novel stuff, you need a grappling hook.
Grappling hook. So you can move the pages with the grappling hook.
Professor Layton's coming back. That was a thing. I don't know if you've ever like my mom played Professor Layton games. Like,
I've heard of it.
All of them, like she owned a DS. And she literally, I think all she played on it was Professor Layton games. So I'm aware of them, but I've never actually played one myself because they're math games. So it's like, I always want to get into them because they look cool and they look like my kind of thing, but then all the puzzles are math puzzles and I'm just like, yeah. Amy's not solving that. And that was it. Like, there's tons of other stuff, and other people will definitely have like other highlights. But for me, like, that's basically what stood out to me. I do want to, with the caveat that I was extraordinarily exhausted because I haven't been sleeping well this last week, and the minute the direct ended, I fell asleep and I woke up wide awake at 1 a.m. But I was so tired. Like, it was like Zelda finished. The guy went, "That was it for a Nintendo Direct."
He hypnotized me.
Yeah. Fucking knocked me out, man.
If only it was that simple just to fall asleep.
Oh my god, I would not.
God.
Yeah. Fucking hell. The only reason I don't look like I'm dying right now is because I put makeup on for the podcast.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah, it sounds like it was a good direct.
It was.
And that's
it
all
was
we
a
want
good
at the end
direct,
of the day. That's all we want to hear. Because, like I said, last couple of weeks ago when it came to the Xbox One, I was just like, watching it, I was like, eh.
And
that's not just like things of just like, of course, it may not have games for me, but I don't care about that. I'm caring about like of the enjoyment of the show, and like I was not
right.
I didn't enjoy the show.
Like, if you watch a good show, and none of the games there were for you, but it's still a good show, right? Like, I feel like I've had that experience before.
Yeah.
But like, I think it comes.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley, learn.
Yeah, because there were good games at that. Like, there were good games at his show, but it was just a terrible show. Oh, I just had a horrible thought. I'll save it. What I think that comes down to is something I mentioned just before there, which is like Nintendo Directs are quite fast paced, right? And they never stick around long enough, right? Like, if you're going to do a gameplay reveal of Tears of the Kingdom, it gets its own direct. If you do a gameplay reveal of Pokemon, it gets its own direct, right? Whereas this is just for, like, a Nintendo Direct is for trailers. And occasionally, like, someone talking, right? Like, hey, we're adding all these Game Boy games to Switch Online. Hey, check out our DLC for Mario Kart, right? Like, whereas with the Xbox Showcase, it was, 5 games? And it was the same length as this direct, right? And
I honestly don't know how long was the direct.
40 minutes.
I think the Microsoft one could have been that, maybe a lot shorter.
Yeah, it felt that long anyway. But but it's just like, I think this is the thing. I think people want gameplay from everything, but I think what happens with that gameplay is it really slows the pace down of a show. Like, it's why I think the Xbox E3 thing last year worked really well, because it was gameplay for Redfall, trailers, and then gameplay for Starfield. So, like, that was it. Whereas the showcase, it was really slow and dull, right? Like, we all had to sit through, ages of fucking Forza gameplay footage, which is great for people who love Forza, but not great for people who don't see, you know what I mean? Like, whereas if it was a direct, if it was like it's styled like this Nintendo Direct, and it's just bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes a better show, I feel like.
Yeah. The thing is that when it comes to me, when I see people talk about, like, the people who were there, like, talking about the games for the Xbox One, were just like, I'm sorry, I don't mean this in a nasty way. I'm sure you're working incredibly hard on this game. But you're bland as fuck, and you're literally reading a teleprompter, and you don't have any charisma, I guess. That's the thing what I'm saying, to like, to suck me into it. It just, I know, I can appreciate doing that type of thing is not an easy thing to do. I don't know how to do it whatsoever. This between you and me is just you and me chatting, having a conversation like we always do. And everything. Doing that type of thing, incredibly difficult, no doubt about that. But you need to then get some people to do that type of thing. But we also want to see the developers at the same time. It's like, it's a double-edged sword sometimes. For I remember the one for the lady for that game, the German lady for that game. She came on and she was like nervous as hell and showed the game, and everyone was just like, "Yes, this game looks amazing."
Sea of Solitude.
Thank you very much. I was trying to think of the game. My brain was not working there. And we also had other ones as well, like the indie game
Unravel.
Thank you. I just said indie game and you knew it. Indie game. Everyone was just like, "This is amazing. We want this. Thank you." And they came across endearing and everything. Because it wasn't natural, because they were reading in teleprompter, I was just like, I'm not connecting with you.
Yeah, maybe it is a presentational thing as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
and everything like that. You need to be more relaxed and more fluid. I can appreciate how doing that type of thing. It's difficult to relax.
Sure,
but I'm just like,
it's tough, man. Public speaking
yeah,
is tough.
yeah, oh yeah.
But
And
yeah,
sadly, we've got idiots who are able to do it and get into politics.
yay. Politicians should not be a job. Like, if you need a guy to run the health department, maybe it should just be a really good doctor. I don't know. Sounds crazy. But yeah, maybe there's a secret sauce to how Nintendo does it, and I just think it works, right? Because like Nintendo showed a lot of stuff, but it didn't really have any huge hitters, right? It had Zelda and arguably Pikmin and Metroid were probably like the next sort of like bigger hitters, but like it didn't really have anything like like that's showstoppers like a Mario game, right? And it's still people are still going. It's a great direct, right? Like because it spoke to everybody in some way.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Whereas I think the PlayStation and Xbox Direct sometimes they don't do that. They don't speak to everybody. Anyway,
I think what holds the PlayStation One back is because we've seen their greatness, and they've never been able to replicate it in a state of play.
Yeah, that is like the E3 setup is kind of ideal because like the classic E3 setup. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen this year, but it's like where you have a show that you show off Control and Resident Evil 2 and The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. Yes, I am thinking of a specific one. and then like you spend the next few days where it's like if you want to see more of this game and you want to see the developers talk about it, we're doing live streams for 3 days. And here's the schedule. So you can just come and see because like the first thing I watched that year was like, oh, the Resident Evil 2 remake guys are gonna show off some gameplay and they're gonna chat to the developers and stuff, and it's an interview, and it's more informal and it works better, and
Yeah.
I love that shit, and it gives people a good show where they can get hyped for games, and if you want to know more, here, go know more, go find out more.
Yeah. No doubt. It's gonna be fascinating. Heads or tails, Amy?
I don't have a coin. Hold on.
Neither do I, but I'm just going to pretend I flip one.
I'll flip Sylveon. She landed on a side.
Sides it is.
Sides.
Yeah, let's finish on a good one. Microsoft Activision.
Wait, we done already? Oh, no.
We got one more story after this,
Yeah.
which won't be fast. We'll be fast.
I don't know what
I'll
it
finish
is.
on a good one. Then,
Yeah. Microsoft's Activision acquisition in peril after UK regulator warns of harm to gamers. Harm to gamers. This is from Tom Warren over at The Verge. He writes, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, already expressed concerns about Microsoft's plans to acquire Activision Blizzard last year, but it now says the deal could harm UK gamers. The CMA has published provisional findings in its investigation into the Microsoft and Activision deal and found that, quote, it could result in higher prices. Stick a pin in that one. Fewer choices or less innovation. I did actually just stab my desk with a pen in frustration and see it reading that sentence. It could result in higher prices, fewer choices, or less innovation for UK gamers. Just UK gamers, end quote. The CMA,
fuck the rest of the world.
The CMA has offered up possible remedies that include Microsoft being forced to sell off Activision Blizzard's business associated with Call of Duty. And the rest. There was 3 options. Okay, I'm going to take an editorial here. She's just pointing out that the CMA's recommendation was actually 3 options, which was they can sell Call of Duty, or they can sell Activision Blizzard, or like they can buy Activision Blizzard but sell Call of Duty. They can buy Activision Blizzard but sell Activision, or they can buy Activision Blizzard but sell Activision and Blizzard, because it's King as well. Like Activision Blizzard King. Those were the 3 options. It's not just get rid of Call of Duty or fuck off. Although I guess kind of is, because in all 3 of those scenarios, they wouldn't have Call of Duty. Anyway, the original news story says, quote, the evidence available to the CMA currently indicates that Microsoft would find it commercially beneficial to make Activision's games exclusive to its own cloud gaming service or only available on other services under materially worse conditions, end quote. Microsoft could also weaken competition in gaming through exclusive Activision games, the CMA warns. Quote, the CMA provisionally found that weakening competition by restricting the access that other platforms have to Activision's games could substantially reduce the competition between Xbox and PlayStation in the UK, in turn harming UK gamers, end quote. The CMA has now suggested a set of possible remedies that Microsoft could take to get approval for Activision Blizzard's acquisition in the UK, which I just went through. They were later in the story. They should have been earlier in the story. Tom, come on. It was the three things that I said. I have some issues with... I mean, I'm not a big fan of mergers and acquisitions anyway, but I do have a few issues with the CMA's sentences, things that they have said. It's like, oh, if Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard, this deal could result in higher prices.
How high did they want? Do you think it's going to go? It's already £70.
As opposed to the fact that it was Sony that raised the prices of video games. And they didn't need to acquire anybody to do it. They just decided, hey, we're going to make a game 70 quid. And then a bunch of other publishers went, yeah, we'll do it as well. Like, okay. Like, there's nothing stopping Microsoft from raising the prices of anything, whether they buy Activision Blizzard or not.
That's true.
I don't understand. That's just nonsense.
That is absolutely true. Like what I talked about last week when we reviewed Dead Space. Dead Space is £50 on Steam.
Yeah, it is.
But on consoles, it's £70. Yeah. Which is disgusting.
Anyway, sorry, Moody. I know you want to talk about some stuff. So
no.
I just wanted to get that one thing out of my system.
No, go for it. No, I'm absolutely fine. No, I think it's funny how they think it's gonna, like, Microsoft obviously feel confident enough that they don't feel like it's gonna harm gamers. Fuck the whole thing of saying UK gamers. It's not gonna harm any gamers whatsoever.
Harm gamers.
Yeah, it's not gonna harm gamers.
Gamers feel like they're harmed every time there's a fucking black person on the screen. Okay? Yeah. They're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Or a gay person on the screen, or a freaking trans person on the screen. They just don't give a fuck unless it's white. It's we're going back down a rabbit hole again.
My fault, sorry.
But, no, go for it. Microsoft, like I put this in because there wasn't actually that much news out there, but I just thought it just made me laugh when I heard this. When I read it, I was just like, this is making me laugh. This is still going to go through. Let's just be frank here. We know this deal is going to go through. Yeah, sure. It's probably going to go through sometime in the summer and everything.
It might be longer. I was reading something about if the FTC thing goes to court in America, the court date will be in August, so it might be longer.
Oh, wowzers. Well, Sony did say they're going to try everything to stop this.
I do take issue with there was a percentage in that. Damn it! I should have just got the Sky Sports story. How did Sky Sports write a bad story about this? But the weakening of competition, which isn't that the point of capitalism? Like Xbox and PlayStation are in competition with each other, right?
Yeah,
they are trying to weaken each other. But like I saw a quote, and it was in the 20%. They'd put out a figure where they estimated that it would like 20. I think it was a survey of gamers saying that 24% of people, if Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, would move from PlayStation to Xbox. And that's a big number, right? 24% of people would go, shit, I'm better get an Xbox instead of a PlayStation to play Call of Duty. But if 24% of players did that, PlayStation would still outsell Xbox.
Yeah,
because they outsold them by like more than 2-1 last generation. So yeah, it would weaken PlayStation, but they'd still be extremely competitive because they're fucking PlayStation. Their brand is so iconic with gaming that like non-gamers call all video game consoles PlayStation.
Used to be Nintendo, now it's
Nintendo, and now it's PlayStations. I mean, sometimes it is still the Nintendos, but in PlayStation, nobody does that for Xbox. Nobody's calling all consoles Xboxes. Like, I have my own issues with the merger for like reasons of like workers' rights and people having choices of like moving. Like if a studio that you work for has terrible workplace practices and you have very few options. if like 6 companies own all of the fucking game developers, you have very few options for like moving to a different place to get away from bad like workplace practices. But like,
yeah.
These issues are just fucking nonsense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, it was a short, slow news week.
Oh yeah,
and everything.
definitely. Like I mean,
But what I thought,
you know what? We've kind of consciously ignored this for a while, so we probably should like talk about it every once in a while, I suppose.
yeah, that's no doubt about it. But what I think is funny, like at the beginning of it, of the announcement to the was that the intention to acquire Activision, I was just like, that is interesting. I've stated on many occasions that I have no problem in a company buying up another company from a certain point of view. That being said, now my opinion is slowly changing more and more and more because of like other evidence that has come to light for what you and me have talked about.
Yeah.
And everything like we've brought up about how Microsoft personally not looking after their studios very well, not managing them very well, at least 3 of them.
It seems like that's the case.
Yeah, and not managing and looking after them very well to a higher esteem that everyone thought that they was going to happen. So the whole thing of this, like, Microsoft will sort out Activision, I don't believe that will actually happen.
Yeah.
Anymore. I didn't have 100% that they would be able to do it either way, but I am now like on the percentage of the where I'm like under 50%. Like I don't think Microsoft would actually be able to do anything to help change the culture at Microsoft at Activision Blizzard and everything.
Maybe that's what they'll call them. Because it'll go from Activision to Activision Blizzard to Activision Blizzard King to Microsoft Activision Blizzard King.
Oh, good God, Jesus.
Mabka.
Yeah. It's going to be, like, it's just, like, new evidence, obviously, like, it's coming out, and it's just, like...
Yeah.
They're not trustworthy. Microsoft aren't trustworthy. And then the whole thing, like, what we spoke about a few weeks ago with Scott and everything, like, them laying off freaking staff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you're a $2 trillion company.
You don't need to lay off 10,000 people.
You don't need to lay off 10,000 people whatsoever during a financial crisis, a rise in inflation, energy prices skyrocketing, and food prices skyrocketing and everything like that. You don't need to do this whatsoever, but yet you have decided to do this.
Well, it's worse in America because their health insurance coverage is tied to their work. You only get health insurance if you're working, so you've also just cut 10,000 people off of having health insurance.
Yeah.
During a pandemic.
Yeah. It is a absolute load of bollocks, personally, and so Microsoft sort your shit out.
I don't. But
you're not going to. But
you're not going to. No. But
the whole thing, like, go on.
No, go on. No, you go on, because I was going to take a different point.
I was just going to say, like, all the whole thing in Phil we trust, in Phil I don't trust right now.
Phil's a nice guy. Phil seems like a nice face.
I think he's a lovely man. I'm sure he is.
To put on Xbox, and like Xbox do cool shit, they do Game Pass, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I've bought a game this year because most of the games I've played have been on Game Pass.
Yeah. And doing that type of product is amazing, but you have to get your shit, you have to get your house in order. And he clearly hasn't got the house in order.
Definitely not.
And if he's leaving that to other members, then they aren't doing the job he's getting them to do. Right.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he's the boss, so it's ultimately his responsibility.
Lands on him, yeah.
Yeah. Just to bring it back to the CMA response, like the other thing I wanted to just pull out and laugh at, is when they talk about the merger would provisionally found that it would weaken competition. I don't think it would. I think it would strengthen competition. Like if we're just looking at the merger in terms of what it would do for PlayStation and Xbox, I think it would strengthen competition because I think it would make Xbox a stronger proposition. And right now, PlayStation is just so dominant that there isn't really a competition. So I think the CMA's got that one backwards, personally.
I think it's just more that they're trying to justify that the biggest game out there, biggest franchise out there, could come under one banner, and I think that's what they're trying to get at when it comes to this type of thing.
Yeah, there is
but they're wording it so wrong.
They do make some good points, like in their full statement. They talk about like Microsoft offering PlayStation Call of Duty a contract for Call of Duty like for 10 years, right? Like there'll be loopholes. Like if they wanted to get out of that contract, they'd be able to get out of that contract. If they at some point decided actually it would be better if Call of Duty was Xbox exclusive, they'll make it Xbox exclusive regardless of a contract. And I totally get that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like the only reason the contract got offered in the first place was just because it looked good, and it made them look good. Because they are trying to sort of rally the public support. That's the direction that they have taken it in.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we'll see.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll come back to it in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
We're all sick of talking about this story because it's rich people literally fighting with handbags, going
over a few billion pounds that we're not going to see. Let's make it a thing. We'll unless Phil Spencer challenges Jim Ryan to a boxing match, or something equally as ridiculous. Let's talk about this after E3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's just leave this till after E3.
Moody, but E3 is dead, isn't
he? E3 is apparently dead. Got one more thing to talk about. Take the floor.
Bramble, the Mountain King, launching April 27th. This is a game I'm working on, people. I am working on Bramble, the Mountain King. We finally announced the release date on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Twas.
Get excited.
I am.
I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game. I think this game's crazy thinking that I'm playing this game and I know everything about this game.
I know everything.
Literally, I know everything about this game, and it's like it's insane to think that. But no, yeah, I'm so excited to finally say that Bramble Mountain King, April 27th, the day before Star Wars. Survive. Jedi survive. Yeah, day before Star Wars, Jedi survive. And
Moody, I'm gonna have to there's some bad news for you. I'm gonna have to Star Wars is coming out. I'm gonna play Star Wars. I'm just kidding. I'm looking forward to this game, and I've been looking forward to this game since before you worked at Merge Games. So.
Yeah, I had no idea Merge were working on this game until I got hired by them.
Yep,
whatsoever.
I think I remember I remember you read the registering the shock on your face when I was like Bramble the Mountain King. Yeah, I'm excited for that game. And you were like, that's the game I'm working on. And I was like, I know. I know.
Yeah, no. But it's really happy, really proud. Teams, obviously, we're working hard at working our asses off to get this game in great condition for you guys, for you to play on April 27th.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward. Anyway, we ran out of news.
We've run out of news.
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
time to move on to Amy 2, the games out this week highlights.
Yeah.
Apparently they're both called blank.
Oh yeah, so they are. Yeah. Well, it's funny, they are both 5-letter words that begin with B. You can see where my confusion went. Look, man, it's been a stressful week, all right?
Well, one is actually called blank.
Yeah, one is actually called blank.
That's funny.
It was at the Nintendo Direct, actually.
Sweet.
Yeah, blank. It was announced at a Nintendo Direct last year. I think I talked about it then as well. It's coming out on February 14th. It's coming out on Valentine's Day. On Switch and PC, it's a co-op game, adventure game. And the art style, it's like the black and white art style. It looks really cool. And my other highlight of games coming out this week is Birth, which we saw at Day of the Devs last year at E3, which is coming to PC on February 17th, and it's an adventure puzzle game about. I'm just going to read the description because it's mental. It's an adventure puzzle game about constructing a creature from spare bones and organs found around the city in order to quell your loneliness. I dropped my pen. Hold on. I don't need it. It's just I'm fidgeting with it. I'm stimming with it. Birth is this weird looking fucking physics puzzle game where you're just building a friend out of like organs and stuff that you find around the city. It looks weird. You should check both of the games out. Obviously, there are other games coming out next week, but I've decided I'm not reading all that shit anymore. For anyone who hasn't been around, missed the last couple of podcasts, I'm not reading all that anymore. I'm just gonna put my highlights in. And Moody, I invite you to do exactly the same. If there's a game coming out and you're like, I'm excited, tell me and I'll put it in the doc.
Sweet.
That's the new deal.
That's the new deal. You're swinging in new conditions here when you're on doing live on the podcast.
I mean, I've done this for the last 3 weeks. It's just that there was no games out this week that I really wanted to talk about. But no, it makes sense, right? Like, I sit there and I read these games descriptions out, and it's like, I'm sure they're very good, and I'm sure the developers have worked really hard on them, and I hope that they all find the audiences that they deserve. But I'd be reading these descriptions just going, man, I personally don't care because this is not something that interests me. And so I've decided this is a personality-driven podcast. It's as much as it's about us discussing things, it's also about us. So I was like, hey, fuck it. Why don't we just talk about the games that we're excited about that are coming out? Generate that discussion. Because by the time I've read 10 game descriptions, I don't really give a shit about talking about anything anymore. I'm fucking sick of hearing my own voice. But yeah, those are the games that look good to me this week.
That's awesome. Trying to sort out time. There we go. That's awesome, Amy. Yeah, I'm really happy. I can do that and look into games and everything like that for you.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you just go on the calendar, right? And if you see something, go, that's what I do.
Just realised I had it switched off right now.
The calendar.
Yeah, on my end, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all I do.
The week after is disgusting.
I know.
That's disgusting, you maniacs.
What are you doing?
Shit, that comes out?
Chill.
PlayStation, you're being very quiet about one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out in 2 weeks' time.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
February's stacked. And I didn't realize until I was updating the Nintendo Direct games into the calendar. And then I was like, oh dear. I still need to go back and play Fire Emblem. Actually, next week we'll be talking about Forspoken. Because I've been playing that.
Have you?
Yeah. I want to do a topic. I want to do a main topic about something related to Forspoken. But I also it'll come off the back of me just doing a quick review of Forspoken. We'll talk about it. Anyway, it's time, Moody, for the final segment of the podcast, because I don't think we need to do a Fantasy Critic check-in this week. OpenCritic head-to-head. This is the game we play most weeks where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point, and if you guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week we didn't do one. Sometimes that happens. What we do there is we bank them. So when lots of games are coming out in a week, we can do 2 at once. This week, though, we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of Wild Hearts, which is the EA published. I can't remember who's developing it. Monster Hunter-esque game. That's it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, that's
everybody apart from me bid on it on Fantasy Critic, and I was like, "Is this really look that good?" Because I don't know. I never really popped for me, never really grabbed me. But hey,
I think everyone's thinking because it's everyone literally saying it's Monster Hunter.
It's Monster Hunter. Yeah.
That's what I think everyone's banking on.
Okay.
I admit that. That's what I banked on when I bid on it.
That's fair.
I was like, it's Monster Hunter. This could be an easy 88 points. And that's my score.
You know what? Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Amy. That's my score.
We just had a little bit of an internet freak out there.
Wait, on my end or your end?
Probably on my end.
Okay then.
Your internet's way better than mine.
I said 88.
I know. Whoa, shit. Whoops, sorry. I put it in the wrong place. I'm used to being the one who says 88. I'm also the one who's supposed to be going first, but that's fine. I don't care.
I jumped in because I thought she's going to go 88, so I'm going in now.
I wasn't.
Get in there.
That's so, screw you.
What are you going for?
I'm going to go 80.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was around about that, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a chance it could be somewhere in the middle of there, so...
Somewhere in the middle. I can't ever hear that sentence ever again without immediately thinking about Among Us.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
I was somewhere in the middle.
Hilarious, where you at? I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle.
I really felt for him because I never knew where I was in that game. Try not to sound suspicious. Where were you? No idea. Not a fucking clue. Works to your advantage when you're the imposter, though. If you're known for getting lost, you can legitimately just be like, I don't know where I am. But I was genuine. I never knew where I was. Moody can confirm. Especially when we played that fucking airship map. I was always just like, where are you? I don't know.
That airship map was disgusting.
I've been locked in electrical for the last 10 minutes. I can't get out. Help me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a game. Yeah, that's it. I mean, podcast is 10 minutes short.
Just so you know, your number is still 8.
No, it's like 80 on mine. I've definitely typed a 0 on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's left it at 8. This is an easy win.
Do you imagine?
I'll hold her to this number 8.
Nah, it says 80. Also, video evidence.
No one believes that video evidence.
No one believes in video evidence. Who could believe in video evidence these days with all the deepfakes and AI voice things and whatnot? Video evidence isn't even video evidence.
It's
scary.
It's so easy.
But yeah, I don't know if you've got anything else you want to talk about.
No, I am absolutely Gucci, Amy.
Cool.
It's always good to finish early.
Imagine doing the J.K. Rowling Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy disappointing people podcast and it coming in short. Imagine that happening. Oh well, that's it for episode. And again, I don't give a shit if this episode comes in below 2 hours. Quite nice. What episode did I say it was? It's episode 338 of the Words About Games. Oh fuck, of the Words About Games podcast. I'm clearly losing my fucking mind. So we're gonna get Jesus Christ. Oh, did you stop in the dock by any chance?
Yeah, 338.
That's it for episode 338 of the Words About Games podcast. Moody, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I guess it's our podcast, really. Maybe I should just stop saying thanks for joining me. Is there a better way I can sign off on the podcast, do you reckon? Moody, thanks for being here with me through this trauma dump of an episode.
I'm always here.
I know you are.
So,
you were always here all through the week, not even just when we sat down on Discord. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share?
It may be a crap week, everybody, but at the end of the day, just be yourself, be awesome, and just properly be an ally. And have a great week. Because at the end of the day, everyone deserves a great week. Well, okay, maybe not everyone, but...
I was trying to formulate the joke in my head, but it just wasn't coming. Just didn't happen.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
See you later.